Today we're going to be broaching the topic of art styles and if it is possible to have more than one art style. Hello and welcome. If you're new here, my name is Leah, and here on YouTube I teach drawing and I do a lot of fun videos all about art. Before we get started, I'm going to just start and say yes, it is possible to have more than one art style, and I think that you should be using more than one art style. We're going to be drawing my thumbnail for this video, and it is going to have 4 very different art styles. So get your coffee and a notebook, we're going to learn some cool stuff today. Today I'm going to be drawing my original character, Reina. This is how I typically draw her. I like using a ink brush and this kind of almost anime type style when I draw her. And for this video, I'm going to be drawing her in Disney style, Avatar The Last Airbender style, anime style, like Ghibli, and Marvel comic book type style. I decided on drawing her, just using one character to draw in the different styles so you guys could really see what it's like for one character to be in different styles. The first point I am going to talk about today is why practicing different art styles helps you really grow as an artist. Everyone wants to find their art style, the magic thing that makes them stand out as an artist. I think that if you only ever practice one art style by itself, you're kind of limiting yourself. If you think of it, every one of your favorite artists in the long run has practiced drawing like other people. Big names like Jim Lee, Pernilla Rum, Sam Yang, Russell Dodderman, Matthew Wilson, the list goes on. These artists all studied other artists when they were starting out. I know that Pernilla said that she used to pause Disney movies when she was little, like The Little Mermaid, and draw what she saw on the screen. The best way to learn is to observe and then to imitate. This isn't to say that you should be copying other people's work. And by that I mean do, but don't. Do copy their work in the way of watching their style, looking at their lines, seeing how they shade, imitating how their characters express things. Do not take somebody else's work, trace it, and then say that that's yours, because that is not, it's cheating. But imitation is okay, and honestly, that's how we all learn anything. That's how little kids learn stuff, is by imitating their parents, and that's how we learn things as artists, is imitating other artists and imitating life. Personally, I have found that trying out lots of different art styles makes you a much more well-rounded artist. And through studying different styles of animation and illustration, I have created a style for myself that works for me. And honestly, I think my style is something in between traditional comic book style, anime style, somewhat similar to that of Avatar The Last Airbender. Not exactly like it, but it has notes of it. Also, I want you guys to note that I just said created my art style. I did not say found my art style. I said created my art style. The phrase find your art style implies that you are lost trying to find something or happen upon something. Creating your art style implies intention. It also implies that you are not bound to it. If you create your art style instead of just finding something and sticking to the same thing over and over again, then you can change. You can do anything you want to. You can make your pictures as in-depth or as simple as you would like. Having a set art style means you draw different things the same exact way every single time. And that is kind of, that's what you want in a television series. Like if you're watching a TV show, you obviously don't want the art style to change. That would be completely jarring and feel weird. But wouldn't it be cool if you were an artist, if you could work on one TV show and do art one way, and then go to a different TV show and be doing a similar but also different way of art, or just doing something completely different altogether? But the only way to get hired for both of those shows is if you can do different styles of artwork. My second point is using multiple art styles gives you a much better portfolio, and it also makes you way more hireable. It shows potential clients and companies that you might want to work for in the future that you can be flexible with your creativity. I think it is good to have a way that you prefer to draw. I used to draw hyper realistic stuff all the time, and it kind of just got exhausting after a while. Though, like, I look back on my pictures and I'm like, oh my goodness, did I draw that? But at the same time, I don't love drawing like that. I can do it, I just don't love drawing like that anymore. I would much rather draw illustrated, more animated characters, and there are so many different ways to do that too. So let's talk about what I'm drawing right now on the screen, since you guys are watching me draw the characters. So here I am drawing Reina in a very Avatar: The Last Airbender type style. I think the most notable thing about this style is the eyes. Avatar: The Last Airbender eyes are very, very specific. Like, when I'm trying to draw in that type of style, I always do a base color, and then I use a highlight, like a big chunk of highlight in the eye, as well as having an iris in the eye. Some characters don't look like they do. And then having a very noticeable white circular highlight somewhere in the eye too. This next one that I'm going to be working on is more of a traditional anime character. It's the one that I drew is very chibi. And the kind of sort of reference I'm using here, and you can see it in the corner, is Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia. Not that I think my picture looks exactly like that style, but I just wanted to use it for some of the shading, like the shading on the hair. With a lot of animes, there's a lot of like very contrasted highlights and shadows. There's also a lot more sharp angles, so this is why my version of Reina, and a little like chibi anime character girl, has like very pointed eyes, and her hair is really sharp as well. And with her nose, anime noses are always super small, and mostly the shape comes from the shading. Also, this just goes to show you that there are so many different types of anime drawing, because this one definitely looks more like a old style, maybe like 90s-ish, Pokemon era, while as like how I usually draw her is very much more stylized. Next up, we have the Marvel type comic book looking illustration. She looks very Superman style comic books, like old school Superman style comic books. I think that's how she looks to me. Like, she should be a Lois Lane type character from like the older comic books. With comic book characters, a lot of the times you do get those thick black lines. Like, all of your line work is all black, and a lot of it is like thicker lines. Like, you can see in the corner where her hair touches her cheek, there's just some shadowing there. Under her lip, there's a lot of shadowing. There's just a lot more shading, and it's all black shading, which I typically don't do. But I do really enjoy the comic book style of artwork. All of the proportions are a little bit more realistic. The eyes are smaller. The mouth is bigger. You can see that she has like really vibrant lips. The eyebrows are really put together, and you can see the hairlines in the eyebrows. Also, I'm using a paintbrush for the skin to shade instead of using just the technical pen that I usually use when I'm shading. And this is going to be the last image that I'm really working on until I show you like all 4 of them together. When drawing different characters in different styles, you're not only thinking about changing the line work and how you draw the actual character, but also how you are shading and the brushes you're using, the tones that you're using in their skin and hair. Everything is different when you change up the art style. Some stuff is similar, and like a lot of the times I do use some of the same brushes. I usually use the dry ink brush and the technical pen, but when I'm drawing in a different art style or want to do something really different, a lot of times I'll just pick a random paintbrush. That being said, I do use Procreate for the iPad Pro whenever I am drawing. Here is the finished illustration of all of my Reina pictures. You can see all the styles look totally different. And it's kind of cool to see a character that you really love in like different ways. I did want to show you guys, before I was draw pictures like this, I drew a whole bunch of pictures like these. Now that you know all about art styles, let's go ahead and talk about art reference. But first you're gonna have to click here because that's the next video. Thank you for being here and watching this video today, guys. Keep drawing.